Social Studies. This is Chapter 1 Resources lesson, and this is your Part 2 video. In the Part 1 you have learned what are natural resources, what are renewable resources, and what are non-renewable resources, children. So before we begin this second part of this session, let's recap once. What do you mean by natural resources here? So natural resources is a gift of nature and people use it to fulfill their needs. So air, water, sunlight, these all are called as natural resources, and we make use of all these natural resources. We use air, water daily. Is it? Air to breathe and water to drink and to do other purposes. So like this we make use of the natural resources. And natural resources are of two types. First one is renewable resources or inexhaustible resources, and second one is non-renewable resources or exhaustible resources. Here, what do you mean by renewable resources, children? Renewable resources are those which cannot get reduced, which doesn't get reduced even after once it is used, like air, sunlight, water. You see, you use it, but still it is there in the nature. So it's also called as inexhaustible, which doesn't get exhausted, finished off. So these are called as renewable resources. And what do you mean by non-renewable resources here? These are the resources which cannot be irreplaced. Irreplaced means cannot be brought back into the same condition if it is used once, like coal, petroleum, diesel and all. These are minerals. These all are called as non-renewable resources or exhaustible resources. Exhaust means finished off. These get finished off if it is used once. So these are called as non-renewable resources, children. So we will continue the part of this session. We are going to learn the importance of human resource. First, let's learn what do you mean by human resource. So children, human resource is skilled and educated people of a nation. What do you mean by human resource? Skilled and educated people of a nation are called as human resource. Here you can see we are having renewable resources, non-renewable resources as the natural resource. So one person who makes use of all these resources with his skills and with his education, he is called as a human resource. When you become a resource, when you are being given a particular thing and you know that how to use it in your life, then only you will be called as a skilled person. So you are valid like all these resources. So only humans are called as human resources, children. So what do you mean by skill? When anything is given to a person and the person makes use of it. See, if you are a skilled person, if I give you a chalk and you will know that how to use this chalk, then it's called as skilled person. So very valuable and it should be looked most important as a human resource. In the earlier chapters, we have learnt about natural resources like forest, minerals and water. All these resources cannot be used unless we have skilled people to convert the natural resources to a useful form. To do this, we need educated and skilled people. Human resource can be defined as the skilled and educated population of a nation. The quality of the people defines the progress of a nation. Hence, the people of a nation should be looked upon as its most valuable resources. India is a vast country with the population crossing 1.21 billion. It is the second most populous country in the world. India accounts for only 2.4% of the world's surface area but sustains a vast of 16.7% of the world population. The average density of the population in India is 324 people per square kilometer, while the world average density of population is 45 people per square kilometer. So let's see this with the map of India. I'll show it in detail now. So children, you can see this is the India map where you can see the population of India, where for one square kilometer 45 people should live so that they can get all the facilities. But here you find the people living in India are for per square kilometer 324 people are living where 45 people should live. I'll show you another map now. See here, in this map I am showing the population of India, where you see the population of India. Here we have the 324 people for each square kilometer. You can identify so how closely we are staying in India. This makes the country most populous country in the world. The most populous states in India are Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. So these are the four most populous states in India, and the least populated state is Sikkim. Majority of the people live in villages or remote areas. They are illiterate or not well educated. They are poor wealth wise and as well as health wise. See here children, you can see these four states: Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh. These are the four states which are most populated. Means these are to the north side and to the Andhra Pradesh is to the south side. And here you can see Sikkim to the north of the east side. Northeast you find Sikkim state, and to the north you find Uttar Pradesh, and to the south Andhra Pradesh. So these are the states which these four are having most populous, and whereas Sikkim is having least populous state. But majority of the people are living in villages and remote areas. Remote areas means where it is very difficult to reach that place, and the people are illiterate or not well educated. So they are poor wealth wise also and health wise also. Even though India can afford huge manpower, due to lack of knowledge and skills, people are not eligible for good paying jobs. Their main occupation is farming children. So that which is done in villages where their standard of living is very low. So this sometimes not even enough for them to sustain their life. Their standard of living is very low, which means they cannot even sustain their livelihood. They cannot get the proper food or shelter. So that is called as the standard of living. You can see in the picture how they are leading their life. It is very difficult for them to lead their life. You can see here, this picture shows their lifestyle, and you can see the difference of people living in the cities. They are having all the facilities which they need. They are getting good job, and their standard of living is well maintained. To improve the standard of living, government has to ensure ability of opportunities to everyone, whether they are from village or a city. So we will continue next now. So till now you learned that India is a vast country, and about the population and the most populated state and the least populated state. Now let's continue the session. Even though India can afford a huge manpower, but still it's lagging behind because of the lack of knowledge and skills. Here we find people in a poor standard of living because most of the people are living in villages. So their standard of living is very low compared to the people living in the cities and urban areas. People living in villages, they don't have more of the facilities because they lag behind they don't have good paying jobs, and they don't have opportunities like the people who have in the cities. Compared to cities, villages have very low standard of living. They need to sacrifice one thing to get another. So their standard of living is very low, and they don't have all the comfortable things. To take any comfortable thing like TV, fridge, you need money, which if you go to village you will find the lack of money. So their standard of living is very low. Whereas people in the cities and urban areas have better opportunities and for career wise. They have good paying jobs, and their standard of living is very well maintained. If you have good income, then your comfortable zone will be increased. You can buy anything, any toys or any machines or any vehicles which can make you feel happy and comfort. So your standard of living will increase. Is it? So when you go to cities, you see that people are having good jobs, because of which their standard of living is well maintained. And you see children, in villages the climate is not the same. So the farmers are in great depths. Is it? That is the difference. So for this, is there any solution? Yes. The government should ensure availability of opportunities to everyone, whether they are from village or a city. So government should take correct steps to make the human resource as a valuable asset of the country. For that, it should give availability opportunities to everyone, whether they are from village or a city. And the government has been providing facilities for education to those who cannot afford one. but still efforts should be made to improve the standard of living of the human resources in India. We should ensure equal opportunities to all the people who are living. Every person is capable of contributing to the progress of the nation. So, you can understand that with the help of government,